Hello, this is Peter from Franke de la Fuente, and today I'm very pleased to be joined by Álvaro Botella, who is the president here today as president of Leading Property Agents, LPA. And it's nice to have a conversation with you because I think that there are quite a few listeners out there who doesn't know too much about the LPA. We have many real estate agencies in this area. We have many new agencies here. I guess that maybe most of them have heard about the LPA, but I think we should have a couple of questions that you could probably answer. So let's start with the first and obvious one. What is the LPA?
So, well, the LPA is, of course, an association that was founded 8-9 years ago from like 10, I think between 10 and 12 members, with the objective to regulate themselves here in the market, no? Because as we all know, here in Andalucia, we don't have any regulation and any rules to follow here. So the idea was to, okay, let's be together and try by ourselves do something. No?
You have now been the president of the LPA for how long?
For 1 year.
For a year,
Just
right?
1 year, yeah.
Mm. And how many agencies is currently members of the LPA?
Now we are 99.
99. Soon the magic
the
number
magic,
of 100.
we hope we have our Christmas party very soon, so we hope that we can announce that we are 100 members, and will be because we are now with the last due diligence of the last new members. Probably will be more than 100, but well, we will see. But yeah.
And so you started this to sort of have an internal regulation of yourselves to said let's lay out some basic rules in between ourselves, and the association then grew, and now you're soon going to be almost 100 then. So where are you now? Which are the targets for yourself personally and for the LPA? What is that you want to achieve with the LPA?
So there is like three things, no? I always speak about the technology. I always speak about the law, no, of course, from the Junta de Andalucía, and from the training. So this is the three main points that we want to focus in the next year. About the technology, we are now speaking with all the tools or the technology we use in our day-to-day, like MLS, portals, and so on, to try to make like a small standard rules that we can work all together to be the more professionals to the client, no? So we all know that in the portal you can find some not realistic properties, fake properties, duplicate properties, yeah, with the different photos, price, so all these things that we want to see how we can change that all together. So this is one of the main targets. The second, for example, we can speak about the training. We are now creating another subcommittee to manage to create a school or training program that with the town hall and the Junta de Andalucía to be official school of real estate here, no? And the third thing is, of course, the famous of register, no? The register that we are still waiting from La Junta. That we are now with other associations to here in Andalucía, all together, working on the requirements and how we will control the registers too, no?
Okay, so the three things are, first of all, technology, the use of technology to improve things on the market. Secondly, to implement a school to be able to provide training to real estate agents. And third of all, to establish, well, that's not in your hands, but it's the regional registry where agents maybe at some point will have the obligation to be registered. And one qualification point to be registered, qualified, is to have done the training.
Yeah.
So that and then fulfill certain other kind of requirements as well, right? So I think that could be interesting then, of course, for everybody that's going to listen to this is, okay, so how do I become a member? Let's say 2 examples. I'm a freelancer, and the second one is I have a real estate company here in Andalucía. How can I become a member?
So in the freelancer, because we have one case on freelancer here in the association, so if you are freelancer, that don't mean only agency. No, you can be a freelancer, but you have to follow the rest of requirements. So the requirement is to have a physical office.
A physical office?
Yeah. So the physical office don't need to be in front, in the public, in the road. So can be in the co-working. So the thing is that you have a place that you can have a meeting with your clients, that you can and a space that you can work with, where you can work. The second is you have a certificate from the Social Security that everything is paid. The same one, another certificate from the tax office. Then you have the public liability insurance. And we request the 3 years experience here in the market. So I want to focus in this last requirement, because the people sometimes there is a lot of much. Why 3 years? No, why I need 3 years to be? So it's not don't need, your company don't need to have 3 years. You need 3 years of experience in the real estate. You have to
the person.
Yeah, the person, the manager, the owner. So you have to prove that you have 3 years experience.
Experience, but experience from here, from Spain, or from Andalucía, or could it be experience abroad, or?
Usually we request from here. Maybe there can be a case that if you have a very good reputation and you can prove that you have a 3 year experience in other cities, maybe you can join.
And the example of the freelancer?
So in the case of the freelancer, if you follow so if you have an office, if you can do.
If you fulfill all the requirements as a freelancer, you can also qualify.
Yes.
And you have right now one freelancer as member of the LPA?
We have one. He have people working for him, because as you know, you can have workers too as a freelancer.
Yeah.
So, but he has his office, physical office. He's on pay with the Social Security and the tax office. He have the public liability insurance, and have more than 3 years experience. So.
And one of course, or maybe the main purpose of the LPA, I'm sure there are a few, of course, is to regulate, to make sure that there are certain standards are kept, to protect also your customers and clients, etc. That's important, and I think that's a good initiative. But there's secondly also, I assume, the influence that real estate associations like yourselves, like LPA, but there are others also, might have towards third parties. It can be developers, or it can be other players on the market, to speak with one voice, so to speak, on behalf of a big group of companies. Am I right?
Yeah. So we need to be all together and strong to prove everyone that no, we are not the problem. We are here always to help. So this is one of the things. And the other thing is, all these other agents involved on the real estate, promoters, architects, or designer, builders. So if we find that there is something that it is not working in the standards, so be one voice to speak with them, and try to manage the situation, sit down with them to try to negotiate some standards. So now we are in this process now. We want to go to speak with the promoters, because we found that in the last years we feel that we lost our relationship between agency and promoters. So we are now going to focus on that point, and I hope that everything is going well.
Just a detail when it comes to promoters, we know, of course, from our perspective as well, that there's certainly clients, but as well agents and others could benefit from having a more streamlined maybe approach from developers when it comes to their paperwork and compliance, etc. It's quite scattered, the principles and their approach right now. So I think that any initiatives that improves the market in general should be good for everybody that works in the market, and most specifically and hopefully it will also be good for our customers and our clients in the end. So it sounds that you're going to be really busy 2026 as well, Álvaro?
Yeah,
is that right?
It looks like, we have a lot of things that we want to work with, and we keep working on to improve all the time our association and all the market.
Perfect. All right. Thanks for taking your time.
Thank you for the invitation.